Hello everyone, welcome to our van home, our adventure home on wheels. It is time for a long-awaited van tour video. For those that don't know, we self-converted our van back in 2022, and then we lived in it for a couple of years on and off, but then we decided we needed to do a complete remodel. So last year, we spent several months just working on this remodel. We essentially ripped everything out.
What did we get ourselves into?
And redid it all.
This has been my life for the last month.
I made a bunch of changes based on what we knew from living in a van, like what we would actually need, what we wouldn't need. And now I'm like really happy with this build. I think it's exactly how we'd want it. And let's take you inside so we can show you it. First, you want to give some specs on the van?
Yeah. So we've got a 2022 Ram ProMaster 3500 extended version. We knew that we would need as much space as possible because the build is kind of centered around the garage, which stores our recreation gear and our bikes. So let's hop inside.
Welcome to my crib, guys. All right, first off, we take off the shoes before we go into the house. And we have a little shoe cubby inside here, where we put our shoes. All right, so the shoe cubby is one of the first things you see in here. And this was really important because before we did our remodel, we had no place for our shoes. Our shoes ended up just all over the place. So I wanted a place for the shoes, and this has actually worked out quite nicely. So I like this. As you'll see, our seats are facing the wrong direction for driving. That's because we have two swivel seats put on. So these just easily swivel when we drive. And this serves the purpose of a workstation. So that's why we wanted to have this. So this leaflet comes up, this goes in. One of us can work right here, and then the other one can work right here. And this thing swivels as well, which I love. It's the Lagoon mount. By the way, we're gonna mention a lot of brands probably. We're not sponsored by any of these, but we really have liked this Lagoon mount. So this has been nice. Okay, and just a couple things to round out the front. As you'll see, we have these windows covers on. These are magnet. We love these from Van Essentials. We use these all the time. I honestly don't know how you could do van life without window covers like this. These have made all the world of a difference with van life. It gives you your privacy and helps with insulation. And then up here, you'll see this is kind of a little bit of a disaster. Probably if we were good YouTubers, we would have cleaned this out more, but this was always such an awkward space in our first model of the van, and so I wanted some way to harness this kind of really long space. We have all these little storage bins, and I've even labeled them to kind of help organize the space so we can get more use out of it. And then we have our Max Air Fan Deluxe here. We honestly loved this. It was like $50 more or something than the like regular Max Air, and it's actually really worth it to me because all you have to do is push a button and it automatically turns on. You don't have to unwind it like the previous version. So to me, this has been worth it. I'm gonna turn that off because the noise is gonna be a little loud. And this is obviously our dining table / office area. So if we wanna sit down next to each other or play cards or something, we'll do this. But the vast majority of the time, this is not even used. But we have it in case there's a third person with us. And then we have storage up here. We have a tiny window here. Probably if I could redo this, I would have put a bigger window, but it gives us some extra ventilation, so I'm at least happy we have that. And this is something I built that I kept from the original build. This is the laptop case / charging station. As you'll see here, we have a couple of USB ports on both sides, and we keep our laptops in here. We also have a plug down here where we can charge stuff. Alex will talk about our whole electrical system with you after I do kind of the initial build. But here we also have some storage. We have a drawer that pulls out here. And then this storage drawer is really important. This is, we keep latched here on the side because it's heavy. This is where our composting toilet is. So that's one thing we did change originally in our build. We were going to put a bathroom in our original build, and it just takes up so much space. So even though our toilet's literally in the middle of the van and doesn't allow for much privacy, especially with two people in here, I still way prefer this. So one of the things that we changed about our build was adding light switches that have dimmers, which is important for us because I don't like bright light. Alex likes bright light, and this way we can compromise somewhere in the middle. Originally, we were going to have a big bathroom here, and we had like the outlines of it. We never actually completed our bathroom, but instead we wanted more storage. So that's what we prioritized here with this space. Alex actually built this entire thing himself. I did the finishing work on it, but he actually did a really good job. These drawers work great. They got soft closes. We maximize that space for sure. One of the things that was really kind of annoying to deal with our first build and we wanted to change is we wanted a dedicated place for the garbage and the laundry. Because if not, it's one of those things that just ends up everywhere. So we have a drawer here for garbage. And it's very full of garbage. Again, we're not good YouTubers, cleaning up before we do this. And then we have laundry. Again, we really need to do laundry. But anyways, that's been really great having that. Under here, we have some more storage and our safe. Then up here, you'll see these guys, which I love. These are our fruit / veggie baskets. This was really important to me because we always need more space for this. And we originally had those hammocks that are really popular in a lot of van builds. But I can't tell you how many smushed bananas and like pears and different things we'd get from just slamming onto the wall. And so I wanted something like this that was static. And I've loved these. We've taken them on really bumpy roads. Nothing's ever, it's always held up. And as you see, we keep them quite full. So that's been great. We have upper cabinets all up here. They aren't organized at all right now. We just keep bins. Honestly, we probably should figure out a long-term solution for this that is better with storage, but we've been sticking with the bins for now. This is the electrical department, so I'll save that for Alex because he'll talk to you about that. Here we have a spice drawer. That was one of those things that originally we'd keep our spices in our kitchen drawers, and I can't tell you how many spices just end up splashing everywhere. So for me, I was very insistent that we have a spice cabinet that would keep them upright. So that's been really great. This backsplash I actually did retain from the original build. I just wanted something that a little bit unique, so I whitewashed this tin. Here we have our ratcheting paper towel holder, so it's not gonna run everywhere. All right, and then up here we have just a bunch of tins that are on magnets that have different storage. Honestly, I need to put together a better magnet because these have not always stayed upright. If anyone has any ideas of how to keep these in better, let me know. So I guess the adhesive keeps falling off, so I think I need like, I don't know, I need to do something with the adhesive here. But this has been great having these storage, even though they occasionally fly off. That's why they're dented in some parts.
Yeah.
And here I wanted to have a bunch of hooks. There was not enough hooks in our original van, so we have this and we keep our hats and different things like that up here. As I mentioned when I showed you the desk, this is our leaflet table. I'm obsessed with this. We use this all the time. And then we have our 2-burner stove here. And then we have a big sink here.
Big sink.
Okay, well, Alex doesn't think it's big enough. He's our dishes guy, but it's big for a van, I feel like. And then we have purified water filter here, which is great. We have a 30-gallon tank in the back, which Alex will show you when he talks about that. But we have running water, just like a house, which is what our goal was here, was to feel like a home. And as you can see, guys, we have quite a bit of counter space. I actually think we have more counter space in this van than we have in any of our apartments that we've ever lived in, which is shocking. But we cook a lot, so we prioritized counter space, storage, and then, as you'll see, the recreational area. And just a couple more things on this side of the van. We have this pull-out pantry, which I love. Alex built this. I was very insistent on this because I felt like we needed more food storage.
I built it without any plans.
He built it without any plans. He winged it. If anyone knows my husband, he's not a winger. So that was really great. Then we have these are for like our toiletries and vitamins and stuff. This is where we keep our propane that's in a very locked, airtight container. And then under the sink, we have a bunch of stuff, as you'll see. I put these baskets that are screwed into the wall and down here because, again, one of the things we learned with the original build the hard way was that the stuff goes flying because your home is mobile. And so when we're on roads, our cleaning supplies has gone everywhere before. So I wanted a place where we could keep the cleaning supplies that wouldn't go everywhere while we were driving. So I love that. And then we have all our drawers here. This part I actually built to the framing of this. We kept that from the original build. Alex redid the drawers though because they needed some help. In general, I did the finishing work. Alex did kind of like the framing for most of the stuff. And then one other thing here on the side is our fridge. And this is really exciting first. I hadn't seen anyone do this online. I came up with this myself. It's a magnetized mirror. So I just bought 2 panes of mirror and put tons of magnets on the back side of it and like really adhered it on crazy with like weights and everything. They're rare earth magnets, so they're very strong. And yeah, now I kind of have a semi full length mirror-ish. which is nice. And then we have like the biggest van fridge we could find pretty much at the time. I can't remember what the liters are. I'll put it here on the screen. It's a Dometic fridge. It's worked out well. Tons of storage space, as you can see. I really wanted the fridge to be up high. I've seen a lot of builds with it down below, and I just don't like having to bend down so much. Like, I cook a lot, so we wanted to have a standing height fridge, and that's why we did it this way. Sorry, this is not the cleanest. It has tons of storage. We can keep an entire 5 to 6 days worth of food in here and be fine. A lot of our build is designed around the 5 to 6 day mark, wanting to be off grid because we often will work while we're in the van, and so we want to be able to get through the work week in the van. And then finally, just a couple more things up here, then I'll pass it off to Alex for the garage and electrical. We have this bed here, which we use this yoga block down here. If you can tell, this is a yoga block. That's how we have to get up on the bed. If not, there's no way, with me being so short, that I would be able to get up there. And one other thing I forgot to mention about the kitchen space before we move on to the bedroom is that we actually epoxied these counters, so you'll see they look quite shiny. And that's because in our original build, they got so beat up and scratched that I kept polyurethaning and just doing all the stuff. And finally, I'm like, okay, I just have to epoxy. I will say that was our least favorite van task to do. It is very finicky and very hard to do, but now that we have it, I'm really like having the epoxy. But wow, that is not to be underestimated. That is a ton of work. So up here on the bed, we have about a queen size mattress. So we both fit very comfortably up here, and we can sit this way, which is great. Alex has to, I think, bend a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a little too tall.
He's 6'1", so he sleeps on the side anyway, so it works out. We have 2 windows back here, so we can have some ventilation here at night. And honestly, between the max air fan and this causing kind of like a wind tunnel, we feel like we have plenty of air up to 90-degree weather. We do try to leave an area if it gets above 90. And we also have this bug screen back here that we like to leave these doors open a lot to keep it cool as well. We have cabinets on this side as well, upper cabinets, and then this side. And we keep all our stuff in these travel cubes, which works out okay. As you see, I have a lot of clothes still. Probably should cut down that, but it works out. And then I have a little nightstand right here where I keep things like my glasses, Kindle, etc. And then I have another little storage device right here because I'm short enough I can have one by my feet, my extra Kindle and other stuff there.
Extra Kindle?
Extra Kindle, because Kindles are very important to me, guys. And then we have max air fan control here, so I can turn it on from bed, which is nice. And I think that's it for the interior. I'll pass this off to Alex to talk all the details on the electrical and the garage.
All right, so one of the big changes that I wanted to make was having a centralized control panel for all of our electronics. It was kind of done randomly, like we had a switch to turn off the pump over there, and there was just like, it was all scattered, but I've centralized it over here in this cabinet. So we've got our inverter, our fresh water gauge, our gray water gauge, our hot water switch, our propane heater. Then we have this switch panel down here for our lights, Starlink internet, heater, stove, WeBoost, and pump. So for the stove, it might be strange having a switch for the stove, but what this switch is it connects to a solenoid that's connected to the propane tank. And so when you turn this on, listen, that turns on the solenoid, which lets propane flow to the stove over there. Before we had to like go down here, open up the propane box and like turn it on, and then we could use the stove. Now I just have a switch to do it.
So nice.
It's so nice, yeah. We didn't have this before. We just had kind of like a big piece of plywood. And now we have this door that opens up like this, so we can access some things that are on this side of the garage. We also forgot to mention that we have this Arctic turn window, and I'll show you why we like this. So you can bring it back in like this, and then close it so you have some privacy. Then you can also open it, and then it has this bug screen right here. So you can go privacy, bug screen, privacy, bug screen. It's really nice. I really like this. And you can also leave it open in the rain because of how it's designed. And it's the only window we have that can be opened in the rain. And one other thing we forgot to mention is this marine grade vinyl flooring. This is definitely something new, and it was one of the more expensive single items that we purchased for the van. But we did have some issues last time. We tried vinyl plank flooring from Home Depot, and it was terrible. It got scratched up and destroyed, so we wanted something super durable. They use this kind of stuff on boats and in marine conditions, so it's super durable. It works well. Can be a bit hard to clean, but overall we really like it. And this is where the magic happens. But first, we have our Van Essential bug screen here in the back. We also have one on the side there. It's so nice when you need to ventilate. You open the back, you open the side, and it really lets a lot of air come through there. Super nice situation. But when we need to access the garage, we gotta zip it up. I'll touch first on the plumbing. To the right side, we have our 30-gallon water tank. So we have our water fill here. This is our fast fill. And this is another part that I upgraded that I really, really like. This is the tip. Instead of having to screw it in every single time, you just go like this. And it's good to go. So this comes from Aquar. One of the upgrades that I'm really, really happy about. We got rid of our indoor shower from our original build that we never actually used as a shower. And now we just have an outdoor shower here in the back. And well, most of the time we shower at Planet Fitnesses or rec centers anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But if we really are feeling stinky, we will shower out here, and I'll show you how that works. We have our shower head, and we connect it up to here, and then we just shower. This is the gravity fill. We have here our 5-gallon electric hot water heater. So if we want to take a hot shower, we can use that. Our electrical system is over here. We've got two 300 amp hour batteries, so a total of 600 amp hours, which is pretty good if we get enough solar. I feel like I could use an extra at least 300 to 400 amp hours, but it's fine for now. I did the entire electrical system myself. We've got a 2000 watt inverter back there. We can charge with the alternator. We've got our solar up top, and setting up the electrical was actually the funnest part of the build for me. Now for the recreation drawer. So I first start by taking out our rec boxes like this. This box is mostly backpacks and bikepacking bags. And this box is our other backpacking and bikepacking gear. And this drawer has these two locking levers. So you just push them down to unlock it, and then you pull out the drawer. Ooh. So this drawer should support about 300 pounds or so, and I think with all of our gear, we're probably pretty close to that, if not more. But it works. I built this drawer. I got these drawer slides from, I can't remember where I got them from, but they are super heavy duty. Our previous design, we had a much narrower drawer for the bikes only, and then our gear we had to like get way back in there to pull it out. So this is an upgraded design. We maybe have a little bit less horizontal space that we're working with, but it's all inside of this drawer. A big part of our drawer here is these two gravel touring bikes, but I do have to take them apart a little bit in order to get them in there. And so it's always a little bit of work anytime we want to do a ride. For those of you who haven't seen our bikepacking content, we do a ton of bike touring, gravel touring in particular. And so we needed the bed to be high enough to accommodate these bikes. As you can see, they sit quite high. I think our bed is up at least 36 inches or so.
We have too much gear here. Too much random gear, but yeah.
And I forgot to mention this before. I did upgrade our bed situation as well. Instead of having a middle support, which we had before, I made the bed out of 80/20 aluminum. So it's a floating bed, which is really nice. There's nothing in the middle supporting it, super sturdy. We fit a lot of other stuff back here. We've got our hiking boots, which I think we've got to get rid of some of these. But this gray box is for our gray water dump hose. And we also have these suitcases because we travel a lot. And so if we do want to just travel without having to drop a bunch of stuff off at our storage unit or something, we'll just empty out these suitcases and take them on a plane. We have too many hobbies, and I think we got to start reducing what we have back here because we have too much stuff. Now let's head up to the roof and I'll show you what we got going on up there. So this is the roof, and on the top we have this 2-leg cargo box. On this side we have our Max Tracks, which I think we've only used once. And over here we have our Starlink internet. We have the flat mounted one, and it's attached with these magnetic mounts, which are really nice. We have our WeBoost antenna. We've got our two 200 watt solar panels, giving us a total of 400 watts. And that's it for the roof.
All right, guys, well, that's it for our van tour video. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I've been so much happier in this build than our previous one. Even though it took 3 solid months to do the remodel and finish it, I'm really glad we took that time because I'm so much happier with this. It honestly really does feel like a home on wheels to me. So that is it, guys. Let us know if you have any questions about the build. I'm sure we're gonna forget some things to show you, so definitely let us know if you have any questions down below. If you guys liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe. That really helps support our channel, and we'll see you guys on our next adventure.